Hi, my name's John Cordy, and sometimes I find it difficult to know where the UGG boot starts and where I begin. Anyway, so if you've been on the channel or on the internet, you've probably heard, if you're a Helix person, that Line 6 have just dropped the 3.0 firmware. Now, I think it's most significant for Helix owners, since there's so much you can do now with a full Helix. Now, Line 6 have been super upfront about this and said that some of the new kind of poly effects are really DSP intensive, and so when it comes to using them with an HX Stomp, with some of them, so if you're using like the poly capo and the poly sustain, they really do take up quite a lot of DSP real estate, and so you're going to be limited in blocks. So this video is talking about some of the stuff you can do, some of the stuff you can't do, and I think just seeing what firmware 3.0 means for the HX Stomp, I'll just show you a few different things. It's an overview really. First of all, I guess the biggest thing for the HX Stomp, two big things: 8 blocks now instead of the 6 are available, and also the command center is available if you're a Midi user. I'm not going to go into the command center now, but basically you can set up Midi commands going out per preset and also per snapshot, so that's kind of cool. So here's my very first freeze preset in the HX Stomp. You'll notice that I'm actually using 7 blocks here. So the clue is that I'm not actually using the poly sustain, but I'm using my own freeze preset, and so that is why I was kind of excited. I was a little bit worried in the first place that the poly sustain would make my freeze kind of work obsolete. As it happens, it doesn't, because it's super DSP heavy. Now I'll just take you over to an empty preset. I don't have any empty presets on here, do I? So if I clear all of the blocks here, so now I'm going to start off with a poly sustain. That's what I'm interested in at the start. So it's down at the bottom. So does this thing, if I take it out of snapshot mode, I think I'm in snapshot mode, I want to be in stomp mode, and then highlight the block, assign to there. So now I've got my sustain doing what it does. So that's going to be super useful if you use your HX Stomp as like an effects thing. You know, so maybe you use it like a Eventide H9 or something like that. You've now got certain things. Now the other super cool thing is this favorites thing. So I've got my favorite delay settings here, so I can just chuck that on. So we quickly reach limitations though, so I'll try and put on an amp and cab. And the options that I've got are relatively limited, but I can still make do. I've got a matchstick channel 2 or fawn, different bits and pieces, so I could use like an AC30 fawn. Let's see if we can add any other blocks. So far I've got the poly sustain, I've got an AC30 fawn, and I've got a dual delay. What else can we add? So I've run out of drives. I've got some dynamics I could use, an EQ I could use, a modulation. What modulations have I got? Tremolo, okay. So I could do, or I could put that after the. So all that is to say that there is stuff you can still do if you're running poly stuff. So let's try and do it with like the pitch stuff. So I'm going to go back to the start and start off with a pitch block and see what we can do. So I've got a poly capo, why not? And we'll chuck that up and the mix down to 50. And amped and cap wise, okay, we're pretty good still. So I'm going to use AC34 since I know that's fairly low DSP, and let's see if we can get a reverb in there as well. We can still get a glitz in. Okay, so tidy. And is there anything else we can get? Maybe a little tremolo or something. Yeah, okay, cool. Right, I'm going to reduce that intensity down a bit. So I'm just going to start saving this. So I think it's important to say what this is probably going to mean that you might need to rethink how you're using some of your patches and what's important to you, especially if you're going to be wanting to run these kind of. So what I might do is set up like a snapshot there with its clean, and then my snapshot 2 I might set up to have some kind of extra drive. So if you hold in on a drive and turn this up, you probably know this, turn the cut up. Obviously you can change any parameters you like at once essentially. Let's just see what we end up with. I'm going to whack the sag up as well. So I could have like a lead tone with a bit more gain. If I turn the drive up even further. So you could do something like using the snapshots for your drive instead of using a drive pedal, and you could still, I think, get a usable kind of. Especially if you start using cap high cuts and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. So I've taken it back to just the pitch and the amp, and let's see what else we can put in with this. Stereo delays, what have we got? We've got a glitch delay, so that's awesome. So this is one of my favourite new things. We've also got, hopefully, if we can run that, hopefully we can run a glitch. If we can run that, hopefully we can also run a shuffling looper. Yes, okay. See if we can run any reverbs at all. No, we're out of reverbs. But, you know, you can still do some things with that. guess I can have whatever reverb I like now. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to save that as JC Shuffle. So that's kind of cool. I think all of that to say, don't lose too much heart if you are a stomp person. There's loads of stuff you can do with the Helix, but I still think you can do some pretty creative stuff with the stomp. And if freezing is really what you are looking for, I might humbly suggest that you might want to try out my preset. As you can do the freezing. And make use of a bunch of other blocks as well. So check that out. Thank you for stopping by, and hopefully if you're an HX Stomp person you can get some really kind of fun stuff out of firmware 3.0. I really like the glitch delay and the shuffling looper. I think hopefully some of you guys will too. And yeah, my presets are in the folder. This is Freeze 3.0. That'll be in my Freeze bundle since it contains my weird freezing preset stuff. Thank you for stopping by. If you want to like and subscribe, please do. And I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers.